Good evening. Good evening. I am wanting, and I have been wanting to do, and I'm going to get it done like I'm doing now. I wanted to um, go ahead and break down the Bill of Rights out of the Constitution because it's highly important that you know your rights all the way around. So if I have to break every part of the Constitution down, every act, every treaty, every regulation, law, whatever it is, I will, because it's highly important that we all know what we are up against and what rights we really have because we are the people. This is our shit. We run this shit, but they have us believing that they're running this shit when we are the cream of the crop. So, I'm gonna go ahead and share this. I chose to do it on Cornell Law this time, um, specifically because it does break everything down, and I wanted everybody to see that you on here they have it to where you can literally go to um, each and every little detail. It really breaks it down. Excuse me. Let me see if I have it up right now. All right. So yeah, I have it up. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, we have the Bill of Rights out of the Constitution. You have all of your amendments, and then it says to the far right, also in blue, it says see explanation. So that part right there literally has a full breakdown of everything. Say like the First Amendment, they have religion, speech, press, assembly, petition of 1791. That and more is totally broken down so that you can go in and literally read every detail on each subject. And it is honestly really helpful that you actually just go through all of them, not just the ones that you feel like are important to your situation at that moment, at that time, but to literally go through all of them because you never know when there's a situation that will occur when you will need to know. So let's start off with the Bill of Rights. First Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees freedoms concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. It forbids Congress from both promoting one religion over others and also restricting an individual's religious practices. It comes from freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press or the rights of individuals to speak freely. It also guarantees the right of citizens to assemble peacefully and to petition their government. So I want to go up to freedom of expression. I always click the little blue links because you never know what it's going to lead to. And everything, just because something has one word has one definition, there could be a total different part of the law, or depending on what you're dealing with, it'll have a different definition. So it's always good to go and click on those words when they have them highlighted so that you'll know the definition of that specific subject or part of law. And click on the First Amendment, the fundamental freedoms, and you'll see the overview, the uh, relationship between religious and free speech. You have religious disputes, establishment clause, and this is what I mean when I say everything is broken down. If you see all of that, so And I'm gonna assume because I haven't clicked on the learn more button, but I'm gonna assume. Oh, oh yeah. I would actually click on um learn more because that's it right there. Like that's that's the thing with a crap. That's breaks it all down. I like that. But yeah, Amendment 1, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So yeah, you have the right, people. Know your rights. Because they'll always tell you to shut up or silent. Hold up now, hold on. Let's break it back. I got it's my right. My right. They've already stripped our God given rights. So they gave us a new set of rules to fucking go by. The Second Amendment in the 2008 case, District of Columbia, United States versus Heller, the Supreme Court held that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to possess a firearm unconnected with service in a militia, and to use that arm for traditionally lawful purposes, such as self-defense within the home. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So they want to talk about the felon thing, felons are not allowed to carry guns. But at the same time, one, you taking their God-given rights, and now you taking their, alienable rights. So yeah, I say alienable. So yeah, it's definitely a violation. Use it in a lawful manner to protect your home or for self-defense. I mean, that's all you really need a gun for anyway. So, yeah, they're definitely stripping you of your rights. Third Amendment, described by some as a preference for the civilian over the military. The Third Amendment forbids the forcible housing of military personnel in a citizen's home during peacetime and requires the process to be prescribed by law in times of war. This amendment is not considered controversial and has never been litigated before the United States Supreme Court. So in Amendment 3, no soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in manner to be prescribed by law. I continuously get tongue-tied. The Fourth Amendment of the Bill of Rights originally enforced the notion that each man's home is his castle. Some of y'all have heard of castle law before. That's, your home abode. Secure from unreasonable searches and seizures of property by the government. It protects against arbitrary arrest and is the basis of the law regarding search warrants, stop and frisk, safety inspections, wiretaps, and other forms of surveillance. If that's the case, we already being watched, in the sky. So that's already a no-no. As well as being central to many other criminal law topics and to privacy law. I love privacy law. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. They break that every day. Every day. Every second. Fifth Amendment of the Bill of Rights creates a number of rights relevant to both criminal and civil legal proceedings. In criminal cases, the Fifth Amendment guarantees the right to a grand jury, forbids double jeopardy, and protects against self-incrimination. It also requires that due process of law be part of any proceeding that denies a citizen life, liberty, or property, and requires the government to compensate citizens when it takes private property for public use. And this is something that I was reading about. Of course, it was equity. Something about equity. Coming to equity in chambers. That's for another video. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise. Oh, whoa, hold on. Let me rewind that. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. And I do want to do a video on oh gosh, just slipped my mind at this. So tired. It'll come to me. Deprivation of rights. Because everybody goes in filing, charges against whomever government and whomever, because it really can be any branch of government, any agency. Deprivation of rights, I mean, that's a big thing. So that might be something for those of you who are looking to add to a case, whether it be something simple as protection, child support, any kind of any court case that you feel like you've been wrongly, you've been treated wrong, or you feel like it wasn't right. Even a traffic ticket or something happened during a traffic stop. You can add that to your case. Like when you go to court, go ahead and file that. The deprivation of rights. And I'm so tired. I know it's in my head, the code for it. Let's see, but I don't want to say it because I could be wrong. But I'll definitely make a video on that. It's something I started learning years ago. And I've been learning all this other stuff. So my mind is it's like it has a million freeways right now running around. Yes. 1 second. I'm at the center beginning of the video. My little one is going to be coming in. The Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment guarantees the rights of criminal defendants, including the right to a public trial without unnecessary delay, the right to a lawyer, the right to an impartial jury, and the right to know who your accusers are, and the nature of the charges and evidence against you. It has been most visibly tested in a series of cases involving terrorism, but much more often figures in cases that involve, for example, jury selection or the protection of witnesses, including victims of sex crimes, as well as witnesses in need of protection from retaliation. So in a nutshell, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So yeah, I definitely think that this is some stuff that you might want to, hold on to, because stuff is crazy. They never, we in school, we seen like we learned, I'm going to say this, we learned about the Declaration of Independence, Constitution to a degree. We learned when it was signed, but we never really learned what was in it. Seventh Amendment continues a practice from English common law of distinguishing civil claims, which must be tried before a jury, absent waiver by the parties, from claims and issues that may be heard by a judge alone. It only governs federal civil courts and has no application to civil courts set up by the states when, those courts are hearing only disputes of state law. So in suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. That's just how I'm trying to live. I'm just, I'm trying to live in the common law, at least. The Eighth Amendment, most often mentioned in the context of the death penalty, the Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishments, but also mentions excessive fines and bail. The excessive fines clause surfaces among other places in cases of civil and criminal forfeiture. But, for example, when property is seized during a drug raid. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fine imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So, when you get locked up, like I got locked up over some, I think it was a ticket. I had reasons why I missed court and all this other stuff, and the bond was something that I could not afford. So that there wasn't a violation of my rights, because you're imposing excessive fines on me, which you should not have done. Those are, and what's crazy is with the bonds, as I've talked about in previous videos, is every single charge, your bond, that bond that they're using on you, that surety bond that they're using on you, can be sold at a maximum of, or I don't want to say be sold, but that it can cap out at $3 million per charge or ticket number. So they have a lot of nerves charging you bail to get out of jail, when they just made a hefty penny off of, you just fucking signing those papers, admitting that you're gonna be in jail, or you got these tickets. So just gotta watch. We gotta watch when we sign. They're not, anytime we sign, they're not using that signature for our benefit. They're using it for their benefits. You might get a few pennies sometimes, but it's not for your benefit, it's for theirs. The Ninth Amendment was James Madison's attempt to ensure that the Bill of Rights was not seen as granting to the people of the United States only the specific rights it addressed. In recent years, some have interpreted it as affirming the existence of such unenumerated rights outside those expressly protected by the Bill of Rights. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. The 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights helps to define the concept of federalism, the relationship between federal and state governments. As federal activity has increased, so too has the problem of reconciling state and national interests as they apply to the federal powers, to tax, to police, and to regulations such as wage and hour laws, disclosure of personal information in record keeper systems, and laws related to strip mining. So, to sum it up, the 10th Amendment, the power does not get delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, as reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. That's us. The 11th Amendment of the Bill of Rights is the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity, commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. There you go. The 12th Amendment. 12th Amendment of the Bill of Rights, the electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for president and vice president, one of whom at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state. Okay, sweetie, hold on. Paw Patrol. Shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president, and they shall make a distinct list of all persons voted for as president and for all persons voted for as vice president, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. If no person have such majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers exceeding, let me see here, I'm almost done. If no person having such majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers not exceeding 3 on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president. But in choosing the president, the vote shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them before the 4th day of March next following, then the vice president shall act as president, as in the case of the death or constitutionally disability of the president. In our situation, it could be Kamala coming up. The person having the greatest number of votes as vice president shall be the vice president, if such manner be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person has a majority, then from the 2 highest numbers on the list, the Senate shall choose the vice president. A quorum for the purpose shall consist of 2/3 of the whole number of senators, and a majority of the whole number shall be necessary to a choice, but no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of the president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. All righty, the 13th Amendment. I love this one. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So already, we are already slaves. So right there, and it was involuntary. We didn't know what we were getting into after we were born. So they already broke that one as well. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. The 14th Amendment of the Bill of Rights addresses many aspects of citizenship and the rights of citizens. The most commonly used and frequently litigated phrase in the amendment is equal protection of the laws, which figures prominently in a wide variety of landmark cases, including Brown versus Board of Education, racial discrimination, Roe versus Wade, reproductive rights, and Bush versus Gore, election recounts, Reed versus Reed, gender discrimination, and University of California versus, I don't want to say that wrong, but Bach, I don't know, racial quotas in education. For Section 1 of the, I'm trying to check it out, 14th Amendment, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. They break that every day. Section 2. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to the respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of the state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged, except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the appropriation, which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in the state. Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector or president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may by a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. You know what you want to call something damn disability. Section 4. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid or of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for loss of emancipation of any slave. But all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. See, and that kind of tells you right there, even before people are asking about all these reparations, that looks to have something to do with why we never got it and never will get it, all because of this. The Congress shall have, Section 5, the Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation to the provisions of this article. I definitely could be wrong, but it definitely seems like it has something to do with that. Um, and here is another part of deprivation of rights. Excuse me. 15th Amendment, Section 1: the right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Section 2: the Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Kind of froze there. 16th Amendment. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. You know, they be tripping. They shall, and they did. The 17th Amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislators. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislator of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election and the legislator may direct. This amendment shall not be so construed as to affect the election or term of any senator chosen before it becomes valid as part of the Constitution. The 18th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof into or the exportation thereof from the United States in all territories subject to jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. Section 2. The Congress and the several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Section 3. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislators of the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. 19th Amendment. The right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Yeah, this stuff is crazy. I guess I'll keep going. The 20th Amendment, Section 1. The terms of the President and Vice President shall end at noon on the 20th day. I really feel like, and here's my thing, I'm going to back it up, because I never understood why all of this was even in the Bill of Rights. That's what's crazy. I need to read that full faith and credit. Yeah. I will do something that I will stop there, and I will have to make this a part 2 because I actually got something I got to get up and do. So yes, definitely be looking out for part 2. I will continue on the Bill of Rights, and yeah, I hit 35 minutes, and I'm going to go over that full faith and credit one really good because I learned some new stuff about reading in my gas company's SEC files. So there was some juicy stuff in there that I will share with you guys when I get to that part of the Bill of Rights. Until next time for part 2, have a good one.